Back again. Gonna hit the books. Gonna get into some stuff today. Gonna look into this shamanism. I got a couple texts pulled, but I mean, I got an idea what the hell it is. You know, the medicine man, the sage, the shaman. It's like a, it's like an archetype. You know, the healer, what have you. But let's see if we could at least get an intro, get our feet wet with what the fuck it actually is. I got a good friend of mine that I met at a seminar that he's actually fucking shaman. You know what I'm saying? Like he practices the shit. So one day me and him gonna sit down and I'm gonna pick his brain and see what type of perspective he can give to it to somebody that's like in the shit, you know. So get ready to do our mathematics. It's the 9th. Yesterday was that grade 8. That 8 energy was coming through. Um, which is crazy because that's my grandmother's birthday. So you know it was popping. All right, let's do what we need to do. All right, so first thing, let's look the shit up. You know what I'm saying? Let's just look it up, see what we find, and I'm actually in search of a good one-shot shaman book too. You know, it don't always work like that. Sometimes you gotta, you know what I'm saying? But I'm looking for that one strong one that's like, yo, this is it. It's got the shit in it. So I'm gonna work with what I have in my library for today. All right, I got it pulled up on the internet. I'll just read it to you guys. Uh, a shaman is a practitioner of shamanism, a magical religious practice involving animism, faith, healing, spiritualism, spirituality, and traditional medicine. It's kind of like basic. Okay. When we pull up shamanism, it gets a little bit, thicker. All right. Okay, let's go. Okay. Shamanism is a religious practice that involves a practitioner, a shaman, who is believed to interact with a spirit world through altered states of consciousness, such as trance. The goal of this is usually to direct these spirits or spiritual energies into the physical world for healing or some other purpose. Beliefs and practices that have been categorized as shamanic have attracted the interest of scholars from a wide variety of disciplines, including anthropologists, archaeologists, historians, religious studies scholars, philosophers, and psychologists. Hundreds of books and academic papers on the subject have been produced, with a peer-reviewed uh, academic journal being devoted to the study of shamanism. In the 20th century, many Westerners involved the countercultural movements have created modern magical religious practices influenced by their ideas of indigenous religious from across religions from across the world. All right. So, basically saying, yes, yes, I am. It's okay. You're all right. Um, basically, it's been written on. Motherfuckers been trying to get down, trying to see what it is. Okay, let's see. Although the term has been used to describe indigenous spiritual practices, some have critiqued the term shamanism as a generalizing descriptor of complex and diverse spiritual practices that are specific to different indigenous nations and tribes. Use of the term may impose simplistic simplicity on diverse and complex indigenous cultures, reinforce racist ideas, and perpetuate notions of other from a colonial perspective. Hmm. Etymology. The word shamanism probably derives from the Manchu Tungus word saman, meaning one who knows. All right, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Hold on. The word shaman may have originated from the Evenki word Saman, most likely from the southwest dialect spoken by the Sem Evenki peoples. The, the Tungusic term was subsequently adopted by Russians interacting with the indigenous peoples in Siberia. It is found in the memoirs of the exiled Russian churchman Avakam. The word brought to Western Europe in the late 17th century by the Dutch traveler Nicolaes Whitson, who reported his stay and journeys among the Tungusic and Samoyedic-speaking indigenous peoples of Siberia. In his book, Nord and Oost-Tatarian, 1692, Adam Brand, a merchant from Lubeck, published in 1698 his account of a Russian embassy to China. A translation of his book, published the same year, introduced the word shaman to English speakers. There is no single agreed upon definition for the word shamanism among anthropologists. The English historian Ronald Hutton noted that by the dawn of the 21st century, there were four separate definitions of the term which appeared to be in use. The first use of the term to refer to anybody who contacts a spirit world. Wait, anybody who contacts a spirit world. Why did they say a spirit world like that? Okay, I'm gonna just read it the way this should say. Anybody who contacts a spirit world while in a altered state of consciousness. The second definition limits the term to refer to those who contact a spirit world while in a altered state of consciousness at the behest of others. The third definition attempts to distinguish shamans from other magical religious specialists who are believed to contact spirits, such as mediums, witch doctors, spiritual healers, or prophets. By claiming that shamans undertake some particular technique not used by the others. Problematically, scholars advocating the third view have failed to agree on what the defining technique should be. The fourth definition identified by Hutton uses shamanism to refer to the indigenous religions of Siberia and neighboring parts of Asia. According to the Golont Center for Shamanic Studies, a Mongolian organization of shamans, the Evenk word shaman would more accurately be translated as priests or priest. Okay. initiation and learning. Shamans often claim to have been called through dreams or signs. However, some say their powers are inherited. In traditional societies, shamanic training varies in length but generally takes years. Okay. There are many variations of shamanism throughout the world, but several common beliefs are shared by all forms of shamanism. Common beliefs identified by Laid, 1972, are the following. Spirits exist, and they play important roles both in individual lives and in human society. The shaman can communicate with the spirit world. Spirits can be benevolent or malevolent. The shaman can treat sickness caused by malevolent spirits. The shaman can employ trances inducing techniques to incite visionary ecstasy and go on vision quests. The shaman spirit can lead a body to enter the supernatural world to search for answers. The shaman evokes animal images as spirit guides, omens, and message bearers. The shaman can perform other varied forms of divination, scry, throw bones or runes, and sometimes foretell of future events. Cool. Now we're starting to get somewhere. All right. Sounds like my kind of folk. Sounds like my kind of a thing. All right. That was like a little quick reference intro, like off the wiki. You know how that go though. So anybody could put some shit on the wiki. All right, first joint is The Modern Alchemists by Richard and Iona Miller. Bobby recommended this joint. He slipped it in real quick too, but he might have said it on another one. But the one I caught it on.
Can I be in your video?
No, babe. You don't need to be in this video because you about to get your hair done, kid. They could be like, why that baby hair looking like that? But you just got out the water and everything. You could be in one though. I don't mind. All right, baby. Yeah, he slipped this one in, and he an old cat. He's still kicking. He's a fucking nut. He got a bunch of shit going on YouTube and shit. All right, this is coming out of page 137. The shaman is the archetype of the wound healer and is perceived as having much mana or personal power for healing and vision. In today's society, the shaman therapist functions in much the same way. It is impossible to practice therapy without first having worked through your own issues, your own wounds. That's a big check right there, buddy. You gotta do some chakra work, some energy work. Doing therapy on someone else will bring them up if they are unresolved. The contagious effect of the self is the whole basis for willing of the power. From one individual to another in an initiatory school, it is a transferal or structured self-integration. Outside of a spiritual school, the less deliberate actions of an adept are often most effective. In this way, other people get pulled into the healing process. This is the sense of when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Synchronicities or meaningful coincidences multiply. More and more, you sense your unity with the cosmos, with the universal. Let's see here. Once. Suddenly, everything seems to be in sync, flowing exactly as it is supposed to, for using connections, intentions for regrowth. Recognizing the spontaneous manifestation of archetypal patterns in your personal life evokes deep emotional feelings. In that moment, you are one with that archetype in an epiphany of conscious realization. But it is an experience and sacred and not profane time. So the ego makes no grab for glory. You simply experience the immediate perception of, I am that. Only then do you tap into the vital, renewing power of the archetype. This is the basis of invocation. Right. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's go back to that one point. Okay. The shaman is the archetype of wounded healer and is perceived as having much mana or personal power. That's key. That's what all of this shit is developing that personal power. You know what I'm saying? Cultivating that. That's the muscle you trying to work out. In today's society, the shaman therapist functions in much the same way. It is impossible to practice therapy without first having worked through your own issues, your own wounds. Doing therapy on someone else will bring them up if they are unresolved. That means it's gonna come out. It's gonna show. Like, yo, sure. And then, I mean, we all gotta do it. So get to it. No delay. Alright. This is our Earth Medicine, Kenneth Meadows. This is my girl book. I'll be all up in it. Alright. Page 5. Out of the What is Earth Medicine section. The human skull was regarded not just as a container for the brain, the human biocomputer, but as the seat of the mind and the consciousness. So a buffalo skull was seen as a representation of the mind of Wakantanka, the great everything, and of the coming into the self of the wisdom of the creative mind of the all that is. Okay? From the basic medicine wheel, an earth wheel can be constructed by adding a further 16 stones or symbols, making a total of 40 to represent a universal web of power in which all things are connected. Okay. Of these 16 additional stones, one can be placed at each of the 4 cardinal points to represent the 4 directional powers, sometimes referred to as the 4 winds. The remaining 12 stones are then arranged in a circle to encompass the medicine wheel itself. Each of these stones represent a perception point and a segment of time in a natural cycle of the year. The approximates to what we call a month. The medicine wheel can be constructed of larger stones and made it suitable for numbers of people to participate, or a pebble-sized stones for use by an individual. Similarly, the earth wheel is adaptable and can be represented just as meaningfully by a simple drawing. It should be borne in mind It should be borne in mind that what is important is not the stones or masks themselves, but the symbols the stones or marks on the piece of paper represent. Nor is it necessary to have a representation of a buffalo skull at the center. Again, the important thing is to have in mind what the buffalo skull was there to indicate. That's they talking heavy symbolism right now, and really interpretation of symbolism. Because again, the consciousness precedes the matter. So you know what I'm saying? The symbol being created is trying to reflect that shit as best as it can, as best as the fucking craftsman can craft, or as best as the person can physically make it. But it's illustrating a principle, and that's the main thing, is the principle. So it's saying, look, yo, he's saying basically, yo, if you don't have the motherfucking buffalo skull, if you don't have that shit, the key is knowing what it represents in the mind. Nigga, you can fake it till you make it. You know what I'm saying? That's the magic. You utilizing that. So shit, if you don't have that $1,000 whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? You can use your mind power. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta build your personal power so you can start doing that shit, yo. That's what I'm trying to do. Shit. In my view, it is best to leave the center empty as a reminder that the void is the invisible source of everything. Then he hit you with that. He's saying you ain't gotta have nothing in the middle. Sound like the womb. You know what I'm saying? Out of darkness come light. We'll let him go some more. He kind of getting on some things. He got the diagrams. I'm gonna show y'all the pictures and shit. An earth wheel laid out in stones is shown in figure 2. Okay. The basic medicine wheel could be represented by simply drawing a cross within a circle as in figure 3. Taking a stage further, it can be drawn as an 8-spoke wheel and represented as in figure 4. Essentially, earth medicine is a system of self-discovery. That's what we're about right there. Yes, dear. Self-discovery.
Do you know where Mom's keys are? Mom needs them.
I have to check upstairs. I don't know where they're located.
Hello?
Essentially, earth medicine is a system of self-discovery. It does appear to have some similarities with sun astrology, i.e., the kind of planetary astrology probably originated by the Chaldeans. Since its starting place is also the time of birth, and its 12 divisions correspond approximately to sun sign months, but it is not concerned with the movement of stars and planets and their possible influence on human affairs, nor does it involve complex calculations in such things as rising signs, aspects, transits, and progressions. This is in no way intended as a criticism of sun astrology. It is a different perspective. Hell the fuck yes it is. That made me think about your boy Ra'aku. Cause he go in on that shit on another level. Alright, and so this is what it's looking like. This is the first one. You see the buffalo joint in the middle. You know what I'm saying? And then this one over here, he like, yo, you don't even need it. You know what I'm saying? He like, you don't even need it. So okay. Okay. Um. Okay. Let's get into this 8-spoke wheel, the medicine wheel. Okay. Sun astrology is founded on the principle as above, so below. But our Earth walk is influenced by another ancient concept, as within, so without. Okay. Getting a little hermetic. Shamanism got some shit going on. Okay. First, Earth medicine helps us to come to know and to understand ourselves. Know thyself. Okay. It is the means of discovering hidden potentials so that we can develop them and create for ourselves a more fulfilling life. It also helps us to understand others, so it is an aid to better human relations. I can see that. Second, Earth medicine is to help us find meaning and purpose in our lives. It encourages us to accept responsibility for our own life and by so doing enhances personal freedom. That's some powerful shit. If you really, really listen to that. Accept responsibility for our own life. It encourages that. That's very, very key. That's a key thing. You have to take responsibility. You don't even take responsibility, this type of stuff may not be for you. Might need something to lean on. You know, I'm trying to get off the lean. Try not to sip on the lean. Trying to take responsibility for your kingdom. Shit. Third, Earth medicine helps us to free ourselves from being victims of circumstance and instead to gain mastery of our own destiny. So, Earth medicine is an aid to taking control of our life. Okay. Although Earth medicine is based upon American Indian medicine, will it embraces principles that are to be found in other cultures too, for it shares vital aspects of the circular philosophy of ancient Britain and Northern Europe, of Western esoteric traditions of the Eastern wisdom. The reason is that all are derived from a common and very ancient source, the circle of life and power, which was the original magic with a K, magic circle. Okay, the medicine wheel is the magical circle. Got it. Like, okay, let's tie it all in. Here we go. And which is rooted in the distant past of the cultures and teachings and allegorizing the myths and legends of all peoples. It is so ancient that its origins have been lost. Yet it has appeared throughout all ages, and its presence is confirmed in the symbology imprinted on the artifacts that have withstood the corrosion of time. This circle of life is a circle of power, power over one's own life. That is why American Indians called it the medicine wheel, for in the terminology of the Indians, medicine meant power. Hmm, did not know that. Did not know that. Medicine meant power, and power meant knowledge. One might therefore define the medicine wheel as the circle of knowledge that gives power over one's life. This circle of knowledge and power was the basis of the mystical teachings of ancient Egypt and Greece. The zodiac used in the sun astrology and the cycle of the year of Chinese astrology, the circular oracle of the I Ching, and the key oracle of the Japanese all have their origins in it. Okay. It has also appeared as the mystical cauldron of Ceridwen, Ceridwen, Cerridwin, in ancient Britain, as the round table of the legendary King Arthur, as the chalice of the Holy Grail, and as the sacred circle of pagans. Whatever is symbolic representation in whatever age and in whatever culture, the circle of knowledge, the circle of power, the medicine wheel has served the purpose of a mirror. By looking into it, one could see a reflection of the universe in what the Indians call Wakan Tanka, the great everything that contained the entirety of all things. One could see how the universe worked and come to an understanding of the mechanics of life and of the cosmic and natural laws, principles, and forces that energize and shape human lives. In that reflection, it was possible also to see the interdependence of all things and to discover one's relationship with all things, and thereby come into a greater understanding of the totality of the great everything. And it brought also a realization that what is seen and experienced in the world of objectivity, what is seen and experienced in the world of objective reality without is itself but a reflection, also a subjective reality that is within, whether individually or collectively. Okay, yeah, this is some good stuff. This whole page is cooking. And he pulling in mad stuff. He's letting you basically know, you know, uh, that last part though. Okay, I'm gonna read that last piece. In that reflection, it was possible also to see the interdependence of all things and to discover one's relationship with all things, and thereby coming to a greater understanding of the totality of the great everything. And it brought also a realization that what is seen and experienced in the world of objective reality without is itself but a reflection also of the subjective reality that is within, whether individually or collectively. Man, it's yeah, it's dynamic. It's coming and going and in and out all at the same time. So the circle of knowledge and power becomes a two-way mirror that can be looked into also as a personal mirror, a mirror of the little universe, that is the circle of awareness of the individual self. In it, one can see the forces and energies that shape the individual self and the characteristics and traits of the personality, the face one presents to the world. And if we look into it deeply enough, we may even catch a glimpse of the hidden self, hidden God, HG, that inner self, that is the true self or real self, in which some have called the soul or the spirit self. That personal mirror is earth medicine. Right, shamans? Let's keep it moving. Oh, this is, I was looking up the joint. And then it gives you, this is a good book, man. Very, very thorough. They go into the I Ching, the wheel and the web, um, the wheel of love. This is very, very thorough. All right, what was another project I need to pick? All right, the path. This is out of the Path to Rediscovery section of this book, 247. The psyche or soul is a means by which the human being perceives. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. The psyche or soul is a means by which the human being perceives, It is not the originator of thought. It is not the self. It is an instrument or vehicle of thought, and it operates on different levels and realms. I really hope somebody caught that. That was beautifully written. The psyche or soul as a means by which the human being perceives. It is not the originator of thought. It is not the self. It is an instrument or vehicle of thought, and it operates on different levels and realms. Level 1 is conscious, in the middle realm or middle world. Level 2, the subconscious, and is the lower realm or underworld. Level 3 is the unconscious, and it too is in the lower realm and deeper still in the underworld. Level 4 is the superconscious and is in the upper realm or higher world and is the realm of pure essence or spirit. Level 1 might be regarded as the level of awareness of the physical world of ordinary reality. It is our concept of what is happening to us and all around us as real, quote unquote, and that is. Level 2 might be regarded as the level of imagination and instinct and of symbols and images. It is part of the world we might regard as non-ordinary reality. It is the subconscious. It is the place of becoming. Level 3 is deeper still. It is the area of the mind that keeps your heart beating regularly, that controls our breathing and bodily functions, of which we are totally unaware. It is the level of automatism. Automatism. You know that automatism, automation, uh, automatism. There you go. The butcher. Level 4 is the superconscious, which is beyond all of these states. It is the level of dreamlike being. It is the level of our true reality, our spirit self. We spend most of our time on level 1, which is the level that engages our physical senses. If we liken the mind to a globe or perhaps an onion, the conscious level is like the surface, which can be peeled away. We might call this level the surface mind. Beneath it, another level, which psychology calls the subconscious mind. It is a lower mind, and almost robotic mind, since it acts on instructions that penetrate through to it. Deeper still, if we peel away the subconscious, it is the unconscious mind, that automative mind that carries out the work. Then there is the inner mind, the mind of our own inner reality, which is at the very core of our being. It is the superconscious mind, the mind of the divinity, within which some have called the soul within everyone. It is the essence of our true identity and of our higher self. It is our superconscious, our soul self or spirit self. It is part of the world of unreal reality where time and space laws do not apply, where all that ever was is now and ever will be has no nominal existence. Noumenal existence. I'm gonna look that up. Let's look that one up. Hey, they cooking. They are cooking. Yeah. Let's look this up so I can know what the fuck they talking about. See what it says. Okay, it's used in contrast or relation to the term phenomenon, which refers to any object of the senses. Suggesting that we know the phenomenal world to exist because human sensibility is mere receptive. It is not sensible. It must therefore remain otherwise unknowable. Is positive is a positive object or event that exists independently of human sense and or perception. So it sounds like it's an isolated thing is what it's trying to, you know what I mean? Generally used in contrast with or in relation to the term phenomenon, which refers to any object of the senses. Then we read it again. It is the essence of our true identity and of our high self. It is our superconscious, our soul self, or spirit self. It is part of the world of unreal reality, where time and space laws do not apply, where all that ever was is now, and ever will be has nominal existence. Okay, yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't mean, they want to use a jazzy ass word for that, okay. Let us always remember that through that part of our consciousness called imagination, we can actually create. We can change reality in a very real sense then. The Great Spirit is in us, as in all, and we can channel its creative power. Modern psychology knew nothing of the subconscious mind or the so-called superconscious until the end of the 19th century. Yet, the American Indian shaman and the shamans of Europe and other cultures had knowledge of their existence that went back thousands of years. Of course, they did not identify them with such names, but personified them nonetheless. They were aware of their existence, function, and abilities. The shaman considered that man was composed of four composite cells. There was the self concerned with normal, everyday conscious activity, and which functioned in the realm of physical reality. This was the middle self-functioning in the realm of appearances, which the American Indian referred to as the tonal world, and the European shaman called the middle world. It is the realm of what I have previously described as the surface mind. The middle self operated in partnership with the lower self, which corresponded with the concept of the subconscious of modern psychology. The low self was the seat of conscience, which was conditioned by concepts of right and wrong, morality and immorality, impressed into it through the middle self. So it don't matter if it's moral or immoral. If it make an impact, it's coming through. Whereas the middle self was reasoning, the low self was unreasoning and acted on instructions which filtered through it. Yep. The low self was sometimes referred to as the child self. The child, there go the child again, that is within us, whatever our age and position in life, in which finds expression in our actions when we act like a child. All right. So, man, you may want to pick up this book because it's spilling all of the beans. It really is. And it got charts and circles and graphs and everything for your ass. Runes. And throw some bone. Want to throw them bones? Got the otter, the wolf, the falcon, the beaver, the deer, the woodpecker, the salmon, brown bear, crow, snake, owl, and the goose. Yeah, let's see what's up with the animals. The animals before we leave this book. Let's touch on. We gotta touch on the animal part. Can't get everything, but let's just get a little. Let's get an idea of these animals. Well, I mean, it's basically the zodiac. It's what the hell they just told you. You know what I'm saying? Be real. To be real. Animal Kingdom. Let's get they just they approach. You know, everybody know animals are spiritual shit. I mean, we know. Let's get the Indians' taste. Let's get their spin on it. Okay, human aspect. The human aspect of the North is the the human aspect of the North is in the mind. The mind is not the brain. The brain is merely a tool of the mind. The brain is physical material. Oh man, yeah, he started. I just saw that part. Just started going. Okay, here we go. Okay, we need to appreciate that the Indian did not regard animals as inferior creatures in the way we do. They are expressions of the Great Spirit, just as man is, and have a spirit also, but they have a different way of knowing. They have a different way of knowing. A way we might describe as instinct. Animals experience the physical environment just as intensely as humans, but in a more restricted way because animals are not gifted with free will, but motivated by instinct. Their consciousness works differently, being more developed than man's in some areas and less than man's in others. The Indian observed from animal behavior how closely animals were in touch with trees and plants and with the elements, and how they moved away from areas of impending danger often long before the danger became apparent. Animals also sense impending changes in the weather long before a changing weather pattern appeared in the skies. By recognizing these things, the Indian acquired something of the animal's ability and thereby extended his own field of awareness. The Indian learned much about herbal treatments through observing how animals were guided to certain plants to cure their own wounds or sickness, and discovered they were equally effective with humans. Okay, watch what they're eating. We too can learn much from animals. Anyone who has owned a cat or dog, for instance, will have personal experience of how an animal can bring not only comfort and love, but loyalty and understanding. Animals have so much to teach us only if we will cease to exploit them and spend more time in watching and listening. The principal function of the North is receiving, and animals were regarded as the great receivers of energy. Okay, break it down for me. Which they were able to transmit to humans, thus becoming the great helpers of mankind. Gotcha. Sadly, though, the animal kingdom has been mercilessly exploited through man's greed and ignorance at the point, and the point has now been reached where not only whole species of animals have become or more becoming extinct, but man's very survival is threatened too, and largely because man in general has lost touch with nature. All right. Like I said, this is a gem. Kenneth Meadows, Earth Medicine. This one is another Bobby classic. This one of the ones been waiting to get to. Took a peek at it. I guess I found some shit. It's in the stack. Let's see what I found. Can't remember. Can't remember. All right. This is Patrick Harpur. Damianic Reality. The Bobby Hemmett motherfucking classic. Oh, get my shit together. Helping Spirits, page 40. Not all daemons are as lofty and singular as philosophical and poetic ones. It's part of the vocation of all tribal medicine men or shamans to gain the help of their daemons. Often hostile to begin with, the daemons have to be won over. That sounds like some chakra work to me. Sounds like some shadow work to me. Sounds like some therapeutic energy work need to be done in that area. They can never be controlled as fully as they can control the individual to whom they are attached. But after rigorous initiation rites, their aid can be enlisted at will. Knud Rasmussen quotes an Eskimo shaman. My first helping spirit became my name. A little oh shit. Oh Aua 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 shit. It came to me. It was as if the door and roof rose, and I received such power of vision that I could see right through the house, into the earth, and up into the sky. It was the little awa that brought me all this inner light, by soaring over me so long as I sang. Then it stood in a corner of the doorway, invisible to everyone, but always ready when I called it. Here we see the enhanced vision that a consciousness of one's daemon can bring. Surely such a powerful and illuminating being must be equally striking in appearance. And so it is, but not perhaps in the way we might imagine. An Owa is a little spirit, a woman who lives down on the shore. There are many of these shore spirits. They run about with pointed skin caps on their heads. Their trousers are quaintly short and of bear skin. They have high boots with black patterns and furs of seal skin. Their feet are turned upwards, and they seem to walk only on their heels. They hold their hands with the thumbs always pressed against their palms. They are gay and jolly when you call them, and look like small, charming, living dolls. For when standing up straight, they are no taller than an arm's length. Shit, they sound like the fairies. The comical and highly idiosyncratic appearance of little Awa is worthy of any fairy or alien. Okay. Clearly, it is not an individual daemon in the earlier sense of one's destiny, or as Philemon was to Jung, and the sense of being a guru. And yet, its transforming effect on the shaman is not far removed in importance from these functions. One striking feature of the shaman's account is the matter-of-factness with which he describes the independent existence of the shore spirits, and at the same time their willingness to attach themselves to individuals like himself. The same might be said of the following entities who appear to people unversed in shamanic lore. I never seen a ghost, but I did see a fairy. It was on the Berkshire Downs, and we lost our way. I didn't know what track to take. When I looked around, there was a small man in green standing at my elbow. He had a round smiling face, and he said, "You take that one, you'll be all right." Then he didn't disappear, but he just wasn't there anymore. Did I did I see him, or didn't I? Or didn't I? All right, skip around. A little hit. This is a little history of Demons, page 62. I do not believe that it is possible to know exactly what is going on. Psychic healers of all kinds do not themselves know quite how they do it. They claim, in any case, that a god or spirits do it. But we are entitled to consider the possibilities of the psychic surgeons raise. We have to bear in mind that traditional native shamanism or witch doctoring, though related to Western spiritualism, is also quite different. Perhaps the psychic surgeons were not performing conjuring tricks but magic. Perhaps the blood and guts were materialized as part of the operation rather than being hidden up their sleeves. Actually, they had no sleeves. Demonic events are nothing if not theatrical. They like to leave enigmatic pieces of evidence which turn out to confuse the issue further, to deepen rather than prove the mystery. And what if the evidence were faked by the surgeons? Might it not be a necessary aid to a magical procedure which requires dramatic props in order to work? Nothing is straightforward in the Twilight Zone, least of all spiritualism. For example, who are the mediums talking to? What produces their paranormal effects? The mediums, of course, say that they are talking to their guides or controls. These are very like dimensional, I'm sorry, these are like personal daemons or guardian angels, except that they claim to have once been alive on Earth. As humans, which is not always the case with personal daemons, these spirits are typically red Indians or Chinese doctors who speak with funny voices. They tend to be exalted souls who have advanced to the higher echelons of the afterlife, and so are well placed and put us in touch with dead relatives and friends whom they keep in order. Man, I'm gonna say something right here. You can do the shit you goddamn so. You can do the shit you goddamn so. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll get into some of that one day. I'll share some things, but you know, this is about study. It's not about, uh, you know, I'm gonna read it because it got the, the accounts in it and it's helping to give it shape. But it's about, the understanding of the principles of the concepts, and then you you get to work. You do what you got to do. Occasionally, the spirit who takes possession of the medium is very high up indeed, almost a god, and see, yeah, they dancing all around it. And as such, not connected personally to the medium, nor do they help deliver the personal messages, but tend to philosophize. Yeah, philosophize. Nor do they help, nor do they help deliver personal message, but tend to philosophize. Silver Birch and White Eagle are examples, both of whom have maintained substantial followings for 50 years or more. Their messages are best described as a kind of theosophy, preaching peace and love, recognizing Jesus as a great teacher, endorsing reincarnation, and so on. Unarguably, but general and unexceptional, though less banal than the creeds channeled by most New Agers. Philosophy, it seems, is best left to the living. However, there are exceptions, one of which the book dictated to W.B. Yeats by his entranced wife. The spirit communicators told him that their purpose was to provide him with symbols for his poetry. The result was a vision, a complex, almost hermetic system of philosophy and cosmology. But even here, the dictation was disrupted by other spirits whom Yeats called the frustrators. It's all in your mind, player. It's all in your mind. They mimicked the genuine communicator so successfully that Yeats often wrote down messages for months before he either recognized that they were gibberish or was informed of their bogusness by the return of the real spirits. A psychologist might argue, as Jung did, to begin. Oh, wait. A psychologist might argue, as Jung did to begin with, that a medium is really talking to other parts of himself. Come on. That's that's yes. Thank you for cutting the bullshit. A psychologist might argue, as Jung did to begin with, that a medium is really talking to other parts of himself. Those autonomous, split-off fragments of the total psyche which lead a relatively independent life. In one sense, they would know more than us. So on one hand, saying it's a part of you that, you know, that you don't always listen to, that know. Um, in one sense, they would know more than us, being unencumbered by space and time. They might have uh, intimations of the future. For instance, in another sense, they would be inferior as well as superior, not well differentiated, half in darkness. On the whole, as we have seen, and as Jung came to realize, this view won't wash. Comforting though it is to think of the spirits as somehow belonging to us, safely contained within the psyche, and therefore subjective, we have been compelled to recognize that just as the psyche is finally objective and impersonal, so are its daemonic manifestations or personifications. All right. Bobby never let you down. He never let you down with the books. He never let you down. Okay, what the hell is this? Hmm. Just getting into Jung stuff more. I was seeing if it had more shaman. Okay. Alright, I just hit you with this last little thing. Let's see. The warning voice of what was doubtless Jung's personal daemon told him that if he failed to understand the dream, the metaphor, he might have been forced to act it out literally and undergo literal death, suicide, instead of initiatory death. In killing Siegfried, he was killing that part of himself, that kind of ego which was no longer appropriate to his life, nor to our own 21st century lives. It is a painful moment. Jung felt an overpowering compassion as though I myself had been shot. A sign of my secret identity with Siegfried, as well as of the grief a man feels when he is forced to sacrifice his conscious attitudes. Yeah, that's the work. But there are higher things than the ego's will. There are higher things than the ego's will, and to these one must bow. Paradoxically, The beginning of an alliance with these higher things is an alliance with what we have hitherto regarded as lower. The primitive shadow part of ourselves, the savage who initiates the killing. These events mark a turning point in Jung's life and in a worldly sense. It was a downward turn. He broke away from Freud and from respectable psychology. He continued to think of himself as a scientist, but his science was not recognized by others. He addressed the irreducible facts of demonic reality in pursuit of which Jung allied himself with those other historically outcast scientists, the alchemists. He became a shaman, learning to control his voluntary descents into the demonic realm, where he acquired such demonic helpers as Philemon, who bestowed on him, to the gratitude of his patients, the gifts of healing and wisdom. Oh shit! I didn't know he got down with the get down. He said he had to get in the dark. He had to go rogue. You know what I'm saying? I got one more I was gonna hit y'all with. Shit, let me check this to see if they got anything. This shit might got some. This dusty motherfucker right here. Yeah, this shit ain't got no damn index. Let me see if it do got anything. Let me see nothing. Let me see nothing. Not pertaining to what the subject matter we're on. Alright. This is by Oak, Ash, and Thorn. Modern Celtic Shamanism. So we're gonna get a little Celtic. Get a little Celtic. Get a little DJ Conway. It's that author that Bobby recommended, that Ancient Shining Ones. Matter of fact, I should see if that shit got. I should see if that shit got. What the fuck I did with it? I don't know what I did with it. I'll find it. Anyway, DJ gets busy. Let's see what it got. Alright. Let's bring it home. Let's bring it home. Shamanism can exist side by side with any other spiritual belief without conflict. That's beautiful. In fact, the practice of shamanism can enhance and deepen other spiritual experiences. Shamanism is not a religion in itself and does not require group participation. I like it already. But can be incorporated into either. It is not Wicca or ceremonial magic, but can be used by both. Shamanism can be practiced by anyone with an open, inquiring mind and a desire to improve his spiritual life. So you don't need any training wheels. You could just go for it. Why is shamanism so appealing to spiritual seekers when shamans are primarily known for their work for the protection and good of their community and the earth? Perhaps because of this work, but also because shaman must first labor on his own self before she or he can truly help others. Yes, you gotta know thyself. It's all lining up. It's all lining up. Shamans are often called the wounded healers. This is more than a fanciful title. The shaman, yeah, because it's wounded in the front. Had to go through it. The shaman recognized that she or he has levels of his or her life that need to be brought into balance before the shamanic journeys can be effective for anyone else. Since all things come from the spiritual realms, that area must be dealt with before the physical, mental, and emotional can be healed. Let's hit that again. Since all things come from the spiritual realms, that area must be dealt with before the physical, mental, and emotional can be healed. Let that soak in. Shamanism begins as a personal revelation and an inner healing, then evolves into a striving to bring balance and healing into the immediate surroundings and to the earth herself. Meticulously copied versions of the old European shamanic ways are not compatible with today's society. Even if we had all the precise information, which we do not, we can deduce many of the practices and their results from reading the events told in myths. However, the essence of shamanism, not a replication of ancient practices, can be of great value on a personal level today. However, the essence of shamanism, not a replication of ancient practices, can be of great value on a personal level today. Shamanism teaches one how to enter the spiritual realms in order to gain knowledge. Spiritual growth and healing, healing in particular, is sought for the benefit of others and the earth besides oneself. The old ways of learning shamanism were very exact and difficult. The initiate had to undergo severe and often extreme disciplines and initiatory rites while studying under the experienced shaman. A great many of these apprentice shamans died from the experiences. You could die. You can die. Celtic shamanism for today changes this outlook. Western peoples have found that deprivation and mutilation are not necessary in the making of a shaman. By using a gentle approach to the learning of shamanism, a person, even if studying alone, can undergo the same experiences with the same intensity, dedication, self-discipline, patience, and reflection on what has been learned all from all what has been learned all form a changed self within the aspiring shaman. All right, let's go, DJ. What else you got, buddy? All right, this is coming out of page 7. Shamanism, ancient and modern. The so-called civilized world has always used the term shaman interchangeably with medicine man and witch doctor. Sometimes this combined thinking is appropriate, sometimes not. A shaman can be a medicine man, but a medicine man is not necessarily a shaman in the truest sense. The shaman is a healer, priest, mystic, and poet. A shaman can be either male or female. Some writers use the term shamanak, shamanak, shamanka, yeah, shamanka, to designate a female shaman. But I feel that this creates sexual barriers that should not exist. Therefore, I will use the term shaman to denote either male or female shamans. Um, People readily identify shamanic practitioners with the cultures of Siberia, Alaska, Africa, and North America. What most people do not know is there is evidence of shamanic knowledge in the Mediterranean and Western Europe. Even the ecstasy of Christians mystics is a type of shamanism. The word shaman has not been used by all cultures. Shaman is pronounced shaman. And it comes from the Tungus people of Siberia. Okay. They line that up with what we just read. So we're going to come on down. Okay. Anthropologists have adopted the word shaman to apply to great many cultures who view similarly practitioners as wizards, magicians, seers, sorcerers, medicine men, etc. In all of these societies, the shaman is the predominant socio-religious figure. Shaman enters into an altered state of consciousness at will in order to contact and use other world energies for gaining knowledge, healing people, and foreseeing the future. A true shaman is usually a healer first, a prophet second. The shaman does not ordinarily deal in black magic, curses, control of others, or any of other charges leveled at her or him, by ignorant, narrow-minded bigots. Every time the shaman makes the journey into the other worlds, he or she is offering his or her own self to help another. Shamanism is an ancient mystical practice of using the altered states of consciousness as a means of contacting energies, gods, and spirits from this and other planes of existence. The shaman sees all aspects of the universe as interconnected, a network of energy patterns, vibrations, and entities. It is the shaman's responsibility to be an intermediary between the different worlds. First and foremost, the shaman is basically a healer. The ancient shaman and the new breed of shamans evolving today both use the same ancient techniques to heal within themselves or others. Shamanic methods the world over are intrinsically the same. Even though the cultures in which they evolve may be vastly different, these similarities cannot always be accounted for by ancient communications. Okay. And this whole book is on it. So if you really, really love this shit, you can go crazy. Starts going into consciousness heavily. A shaman must always be aware that he or she has a definite mission in the shamanic state of consciousness. Entering this state of consciousness is not for play, but for serious purposes. And when he or she re-enters the ordinary shamanic consciousness, he or she must know what to do with the information that has been retrieved. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think we got meditation. During shamanic journeys, time and meditation is non-existent. Time is a limited idea belonging to the left brain and conscious mind. When working with the right brain and the subconscious mind, as during meditations and journeys, time has no meaning at all. That was beautifully written. You could just kill the concept of time. Don't even. After a little practice at relaxing and letting go of the physical body, you will be amazed how much time is spent in meditation. Letting go of the physical body. Yeah. Let's make our notes. need to. That's giving me an idea in real time. The symbolism of dropping your problems into the water of essential. It is never a good idea to go into meditation without doing this, just as it is imprudent not to use the white light. Both are protective measures to eliminate taking negative vibrations into a otherwise productive exercise. And then they take you through it. This is the underworld goddess, she of many names. The cauldron is black with silver beads around the brim. The other swirling Celtic designs and silver coverings on the rounded sides. As you stand looking at these mystic symbols and the figure on the throne rises and comes forward to greet you. This is the underworld goddess, she of many names. So they take you through it. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna try to catch up with my man. I don't know, we might have to do a shaman part 2. That was just like the intro to kind of get an idea, because they dealing with levels of consciousness. So that means I need to scour that whole book. I'm gonna have to comb that one. You know what I'm saying? Some of them are reference points. Some of them you gotta walk through them. Like that Modern Alchemist. That's a book you want to walk through too. All right, about to get up out of here. Get ready to locate the jar. Catch y'all on the next one. 1.